like Julian Assange said, censorship is for losers. But again, we're Trump's base. That's the whole point. I mean, we're the reason why he got elected, right? Mainly. And everybody else who, got on board the bandwagon as well. They know that, and yet they still can't resist calling us alt-right, far-right, fringe. Again, we're not the fringe, we're the base. That's why we've got such a massive influence. Breaking as of 10 minutes ago, on the back of this huge scandal with Google, the engineer coming out and putting out a memo saying basically conservatives are targeted for their opinion, they're discriminated against. Men and women are biologically different and suited to different tasks. He actually voiced that thought crime, Alex, and for that he was hounded, doxxed, fired by Google. Well, it's come out now in the past 20 minutes or so. What we already knew, it's been confirmed. Google insiders have confirmed not only is Google demoting, i.e. changing their algorithms to push anti-PC content off their search results, anti-Islamic terror content off their search results. Not only is Google doing that, which we knew about from the election, where they would censor negative things about Hillary Clinton, when people typed in Hillary Clinton is a criminal, whatever, those results would come up on Bing, they would come up on Yahoo search. Nothing negative about Hillary would come up on Google because they were in bed with the campaign.
And by the way, last week, that top professor, psychology professor, who said, no, there are men and women, and people saying that they're a woman who says they're a man and then a man has a baby, that's basically imaginary. He was banned off Google. So, and by the way, I've noticed now all this old medical stuff about mainstream science, mainstream news articles about vaccines hurting people, about fibromyalgia, about Lyme's coming from Plum Island, which was declassified off the coast of New York. It's all gone. They just shoveled scientific reports at the top that are all in nomenclature you can't understand and only put a bunch of scientific reports that no one can read now, and 50 pages deep. None of all the top links are there. So, Google is gone full censor. It has extincted itself. I've always said we need to find an alternate. Paul, who do you think is still a half-decent one that was as good as Google? Because Google's not even good anymore. They're killing themselves. I let them know I was going to sue them 3 weeks ago. When they delisted us out of the first 5 pages, suddenly we're all back at the top. So it's so political. I'm like, I'm going to sue you for racketeering and civil rights violations, and I've got the documents you hired people to delist me. Oh, yes, let us put you right back at the top. But for everybody else that doesn't, Google is moving against us. Paul, sorry, go ahead.
Well, what's also been confirmed, Alex, by this insider, which, again, I've been talking about for ages, they stop recommended videos by yours truly, by other anti-SJW people from appearing on recommended video lists. That is absolutely huge because that's how you get most of your views on YouTube. Even with like InfoWars driving views, it's still more on YouTube.
When they did the Super Deluxe that got 20 million views on Facebook and on YouTube, they would make it not available or glitched it where the audio was off or just killed them. When they figured out, oh, this attack people like Alex, then they just stopped that, Paul. They're in live time. Look at this. Google fires diversity manifesto author James Damore. This is a confirmed high-level insider, as you said, up on Infowars.com. It's amazing, Paul. They're really... So what does this signify to you? That they're now... Google, Facebook, Twitter, all of it is intensifying censorship 50 times what it ever was. Fake news is intensifying their lies about Trump, about us. CNN saying the economy's horrible. These people are next-level liars. Does it signify they're getting ready to move with something big? Because they're saying they're getting ready to kill the president.
Oh, totally. The hysteria is through the roof. Yeah. People were thinking it would tail off, after Trump was in office for 6, 7, 8 months. No way. As a result of this Google scandal, they're now talking about creating blacklists of anyone with conservative opinions, but not even just conservative opinions. If you disagree with their claim that there aren't any differences biologically between men and women, you're a thought criminal, you're an alt-right neo-Nazi, and you're not allowed to have a decent paying job. They're literally calling for that off the back of this Google engineer going public and being fired for his hate crime. I mean, read what he said. He put out a 10-page memo, Alex, and it's dry, it's anodyne. It's not even that offensive. But the mere fact that he was a conservative within Google, they had to shame him. They publicly shamed him. They doxed him. They hounded him. They fired him. Now they're going to face a lawsuit from him. And again, it just gets to the heart of the matter, which is no tolerance for diversity of opinion within Google whatsoever. So if they're doing that on the inside, of course they're going to do it on the outside. And this whistleblower, another whistleblower, we got more coming out today, is saying that they had a complete hissy fit after the election. Hysteria was rampant. And that's when they decided to ramp up that stealth censorship, which is why now, whenever I upload a YouTube video, Alex, and this is happening to a bunch of different uploaders, not only conservatives, people with an opinion, anyone, they delete hundreds of subscribers every time you upload a video. Now, my traction was so good over the past 6 months that I still managed to get past 1 million subscribers.
But Paul, let's explain how they're doing this. Let's explain how they're doing this. And I'm skipping this break so you have more time, and the 50 break, because this is the 4th hour, and the network doesn't even seem like this is an important hour, even though it has hundreds of stations, and so that's fine. We skip a lot of the breaks here because they haven't even ever monetized it. That's fine. But Paul, if you look at this, first they cut your funding off the channel that made some money, 76% as soon as Trump got elected. They did that to all my channels. And, of course, your channel is my channel. So that's 76% cutting and funding just on our YouTube platform. Now, we always just grow more tentacles and, get more support like a Hydra. Our listeners understand this. But see, now they're going to block everything. And people keep saying, well, why are you on YouTube? Because it's the big dominant platform like Facebook, because we're winning despite the censorship. It's the battlefield. While we get people to go to Infowars.com and prisonplanet.com, and while we get denial of service attacks and hack attacks and attempts to get rid of our sponsors and our suppliers and attempts to sabotage us. Yes, we know, folks, we know. Drudge is right. We should have our own things, not their electronic ghetto. But we have to go into the ghettos of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and let folks know they're becoming classical ghettos. For folks that don't know, in Nazi Germany, the first thing they would do was say, you can't have a business. Then they'd move you into a ghetto. Then they start shutting you down. This is what they're doing, and we've got to have President Trump come after them, break them up for antitrust. The fact that they've noticed that Trump doesn't understand how this works. He knows they're fake news. He knows they're bad, but they're censoring him. They're blocking him, and we're getting memos of the president. He's looking into it, but all of his adjuncts, except for Scaramucci, go, no, sir, that's not happening, and lie to him. Because they believe the power of Google will break the president. They're such damn cowards. If he just had 100 people around him that weren't cowardly traitors, we would win easily, Paul. Go ahead. Instead, we're going into a total AI technocracy takeover nightmare. The left doesn't get, once our free speech is gone, theirs is gone too. They're the useful idiots on the left. There's no such thing as a left with Al Gore and George Soros. These people are international crime lords. You morons. I'm turning it over to you, but I'm going to show this one article that Cernovich sent me from the enemy showing how you're the top enemy. Go ahead.
No, I mean, that's people say, oh, why don't you just start your own video platform? It would be an echo chamber.
I did it. It costs us $50,000 a month in bandwidth. Infowars.com/show. Sorry, go ahead.
We actually want intellectual diversity. We want diversity of opinion, which is why we want to interact with people with different ideas, because we're actually classical liberals, unlike Google, which wants to stealth censorship everybody and then claim they're the public commons, that they're going to give everybody a voice. It's
Google's there to shut up about the execution vans in China and murder operations and whenever they have a massacre of Africans for their land, Google covers it up. The New York Times says it's okay. They're evil, hardcore, scientific psychopaths posing as liberals. The little pink outfits and the funny colored socks and the little mustaches are meant to be non-threatening. They're savage murderers. Go ahead.
And the censorship is coming, Alex, because both Vice and the New York Times, far from, alt-right publications, admitted separately that the right is dominating YouTube. And by the right, it's just anyone who's authentic, who has any sense of rationality and common sense remaining. So they freaked out. We're completely dominating YouTube in terms of politics. There's no competition. All the SJW channels fail. A lot of the big
SJWs can't even talk. The SJWs just literally go.
They can't talk.
Like they're in a body snatcher movie.
No, I mean, that is part of it, Alex. They're lazy, they're untalented. They don't spend 10 hours sat in front of the computer editing a YouTube video. They can just put out a tweet and virtue signal, and it's easier for them. But again, New York Times Vice admits the right's dominating YouTube. They're freaking out about it. So now they're just going to censor us. They're deleting hundreds of subscribers. The views have plummeted since April, since the adpocalypse. So it's not just about the money. Independent creators are going to get absolutely crushed and be demotivated from making videos in the first place.
By the way, what's the name of the video where because they all do it where the woman goes like body snatcher? Because we've noticed that's the standard deal, but she's the best. So I want to show folks I'm not joking.
No, exactly. I mean, let's look at a segment from this memo that this Google engineer was fired for, was vilified for, was called a misogynist and a racist. This is what he concluded with. He said, suggestions. I hope it's clear that I'm not saying that diversity is bad, that Google or society is 100% fair, that we shouldn't try to correct existing biases or that minorities have the same experience as those in the majority. My larger point is that we have an intolerance for ideas and evidence that don't fit a certain ideology. So it's completely milquetoast. He's saying, oh, we shouldn't treat conservatives like crap and shame them into silence and not allow them to think that they have...
Hold on, let's be fair, though. Under fair use...
How dare he?
Hold on. Under the fairness doctrine they're bringing back, let's give equal time to the other side. Let's play a popular standard SJW for a moment. Let's play and give some equal time. Let's let her communicate, both verbally and non-verbally. Here it is.
All of a sudden, they're growing like parasites. Is it contagious?
Trump, free all the homies.
It looked right at me.
You need to get out.
You're looking at it as if it was human. It was not human.
Now, the classic fear begins to grow
We're being cornered.
in a modern masterpiece of science fiction.
They're barricading the street.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
The land of the Walking Dead.
If you are receiving this...
Paul, I'm going to let you take over. It's hard to get Paul to host a couple days a week, and then I always take over because I like Paul so much, and he works so hard, he's hard to get a hold of. But if you're not a TV viewer, we actually show body snatchers versus what they really act like in public. And I think I went crazy today. This is entertaining. We're in a dystopic, badass movie, man. I'm actually starting to enjoy this, Paul. I'm going to go and watch the rest of the show. Bye. Oh, here's that one part. Alt-right Open Intelligence Initiative. Have you seen this with the map, how you're the big enemy? Have you seen it?
Yeah, that was an interesting read, Alex. I mean,
have you seen the map?
Doing that again with the Fire McMaster tweets. They're freaking out about it. Jake Tapper's saying, oh, why is Mike Flynn Jr. retweeting these far-right fringe people? If we're so fringe...
Jake Tapper!
Yeah, why is he so triggered by it? He's triggered. It's like when Media Matters gets triggered by Drudge linking to us. Remember that? He literally wrote an article about it every time, years ago. If we're so fringe, if we're so out there, why are you even talking about us? Well,
why are they mapping everything we do? Because we have way more viewers than they do, and they're totally freaked out and want to shut us down like any group of losers do. Guys, can you show this article?
Like Julian Assange said, censorship is for losers. But again, we're Trump's base. That's the whole point. I mean, we're the reason why he got elected, right? Mainly. And everybody else who, got on board the bandwagon as well. They know that, and yet they still can't resist calling us alt-right, far-right, fringe. Again, we're not the fringe, we're the base. That's why we've got such a massive influence, and that's why Jake Tapper of CNN is so triggered by it.
But why do they scream and yell and their tongues hang out? Because we're seeing this everywhere now where they just go... Like, I mean, everywhere I go, they're just going... I mean, what happened?
It's called Trump derangement syndrome, Alex, and it's been legitimized by the mainstream media saying that he's literally Hitler.
Why don't you feed the trolls and do an imitation of it? Feed the trolls and do an imitation of it. Let's go back to Paul here. Go back to Paul. Feed the trolls. Do it for them. Do it again. They cut. Don't cut. Do it again.
You ready?
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
It's like a baby throwing a fit.
No, these are the people working for Google now, Alex. These are the sober, rational voices. I mean, you should have seen the tweets that they said about this guy.
Remember Reality Winner with a top secret clearance giving information to ISIS and hating all white people, and she was a dumb white lady? These are crazy people.
No, they've been driven completely mad because they think they have the moral high ground, because for the past 8-10 months, the media has told them that they're the resistance. I mean, Michael Moore's now talking about going after Trump's kids and saying, oh, you won't get put in prison if you just turn over your father. Absolute, complete insanity. These people are just getting more and more hysterical. Oh, but we're the extremist fringe. Absolutely insane. You've seen how they react in public. And this Google thing is blowing up in their face once again. They tried to come out. Now you've got fake news coming out and saying, this is CNN, the Google engineer who wrote a memo that argued women aren't biologically fit for tech jobs. Complete lie.
He didn't say that.
He never even said that. He said people should be selected for jobs based on their talent, based on their, past experience if they're suited for the job. My God, what a thought crime. You should pick people for a job based on who's best at the friggin' job, Alex.
By the way, we're trying to hire more women because I think women do a great job. We're putting ads out for women. For some reason, they just don't apply as much.
No, I mean, listen to what he said in this memo. Men tend to occupy, this is paraphrasing, men tend to occupy more leadership positions because they're under more pressure to be status-driven. Okay? That's just a fact. In fact, a bunch of scientists came out today and backed him up. Why do you think 80% of Google's technical staff are men? Because men are more attracted towards those kind of jobs. Doesn't mean that men are better than women. They're just
Here's an example. I did this weekend, I said no electronics. So my daughters got every chair in the house, built a giant fort, and began going in the kitchen and cooking things. It was all biological. It was all epigenetic. And then my son is like, let's get guns out and clean them in bows and arrows and write a screenplay. And it's not that women don't write screenplays. It's that epigenetically, the men start going around and organizing weapons and stuff because the tribe over the hill might come after us, and the women are like building forts and, things and cooking food. It's genetic. It doesn't mean women can't do things just as good as men in many cases or vice versa. But we can't have babies. I told Paul I was going away, but Paul is now taking over after this quick break. Stay with us.
We're live. It's the 4th hour of the Alex Jones Show. Before we get back into this huge news, I want to tell you about the new 1776 specials for August while supplies last at InfoWarsStore.com. We have Alexa Pure Pro and Alexa Pure Breeze available at a 25% discount right now. Huge discount on those key products while supplies last at InfoWarsStore.com. Brain Force, which is what I take before I do the show. It gives you mental clarity. It gives you a buzz, but it's not like the junky buzz that you would get from coffee. It gives you mental acuity if you're doing intellectual tasks. It helps a great deal. Nootropics, Google it. It's what all the whiz kids in Silicon Valley are taking. This is what enables them to censor us with such stealth precision. Fight back by getting it for yourself at InfoWarsStore.com. Brain Force is $17.76. That's 55% off retail. That is huge. Stock up today on Brain Force. We also have Survival Shield X2 at 55% off retail for the same low price, $17.76, as well as Secret 12 and a lot of other products. BioTrue Selenium at InfoWarsStore.com. You can also get the Super Blue mouthwash, new product at 11% off for the same price. And the John Oliver Challenge. Thanks a lot to John Oliver for boosting our sales. Much appreciated, John. Chocolate or strawberry caveman plus the True Whey protein for $69.93. That is a 30% discount and 50% off silver product special, which is Silver Bullet plus Super Blue toothpaste plus the Power toothbrush with silver infused bristles and the Super Blue mouthwash. So that is a complete kit for just $44.92. That is 50% off retail. Massive discounts. It is the 1776 special for August while supplies last at InfoWarsStore.com. Please support us today. We really appreciate it. We really need it more than ever because, when you're over the target because you're taking flack on a daily basis. That's exactly what we put up with here. Please support us by getting the products at InfoWarsStore.com. I mentioned at the top of the show when I came in at the top of the hour, this article out of Breitbart, which is breaking within the last hour. Former Google employee, there are efforts to demote anything non-PC from search results. Now, we knew this was being tested during the presidential election because, of course, the negative search terms, search queries for Hillary Clinton were not showing up on Google the same way they were showing up on, for example, Bing or Yahoo search. People would type in Hillary Clinton is, and on Bing or Yahoo or any other search engine, negative results would be suggested in the autocomplete suggestion feature. So, it would be Hillary Clinton is a criminal or whatever. You type the same thing onto Google and you got a different set of suggestions, none of which were negative. That was a clear example of them gaming their algorithm for the benefit of Hillary Clinton. Of course, we know Eric Schmidt was in bed with Obama, was in bed with Hillary Clinton.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.